Hi guys, it's Tina. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll stick around for encouragement and motivation. And if you've been with me a little while, I thought you might like to hear my story. What brought me to a plant-based lifestyle and how I learned what I know and what I share with you. Basically, I started because I was searching for a cure for my high blood pressure. I had developed a side effect. After probably 15 years at least on medication, the same one, I developed a side effect. It was a persistent cough that just wouldn't go away. I thought I had a serious cold and then didn't know what was wrong. After a month, I knew it wasn't a cold, and it literally took me that long to get into the doctor just because it was the time of year that the doctor was really busy and I kept getting put off for an appointment. But by the time I got to a doctor, the doctor looked at my medications and asked how long I'd been on it and knew right away that that's what it was. So that was a serious red flag for me. I knew that this doctor realized there were side effects for medications, that it took a long time for these things to build up in the body, and that this was just one of the many side effects that can occur after prolonged use on a medication. And I was on a lot of medications. Okay, that was a blood pressure medication with a diuretic combined. So the first thing she did was take me off of that medication and put me on a different one, and then gave me the diuretic separately. And what that did was made my potassium plummet. So I had been researching this lifestyle, and I started with Andrew Spud Fit Taylor. So while I was researching this, Andrew Taylor was going through his 1 year of potato only diet. And every day I watched him on YouTube and I went through his journey with him. And he talked about Dr. McDougall. So I researched Dr. McDougall. And I watched Forks Over Knives because that's what he told me to do. So that's what I did. And I just started getting all the information I could from all these different doctors that were featured in this film and that Andrew talked about in his daily journey, his journal, online journal on YouTube. And that led me to this book right here, The Healthiest Diet on the Planet. And this is by Dr. McDougall. And there's a lot of recipes in the back from his wife, Mary. And so back to the potassium. So I started this diet, okay, during the time that I was waiting for this, for the blood test to come back to say whether this medication was right. You have to, when a doctor changes the medication, they do blood work and they want to see you. Then when she realized I was low in potassium, she was telling me, eat more potatoes. And I said, I eat about 5 potatoes a day. Well, drink orange juice. Well, I'm not supposed to drink orange juice. Okay, well, have some raisins. Well, that's kind of frowned upon, but I'll do that. I'll add some of that in my oats. And it just went on and on and on. And I was trying to explain to her this diet and that I was eating a massive amount of potatoes. And she just kept telling me, well, do more. She didn't get it. She knew absolutely nothing about nutrition. So she did not understand just how much potassium I was taking through my food every day. So at first she put me on a prescription, and she would not hear that this diuretic was causing this. She just said, no, that's not what's doing it. Well, I looked online, and the research that I showed online said it absolutely did. So I went to the pharmacist and I said, the doctor won't listen to me, but I've looked online and this says that this will lower your potassium. He said, no, it won't. I don't know what you found online, but it won't. So no one would listen to me. So I absolutely just went to the doctor and said, take me off of the diuretic. I don't know that I really need it. Yes, I swell a lot, but, just take me off of it. And let's see what happens. And sure enough, the potassium normalized, and that really showed me that the doctors know absolutely nothing about nutrition, and they know absolutely nothing about the medication that they are prescribing. And I, again, was on a lot of medication. So blood pressure, diuretic for the blood pressure, cholesterol medication, that aspirin a day for preventative heart, because when you're over 200 pounds at 5'2" and you have high blood pressure and cholesterol, you know you have heart disease. So I was taking that aspirin a day as prescribed by the doctor, plus medication for nerve pain and muscle pain. So a lot of medications. At one point I was even on 3 different medications for blood pressure. And whenever it would spike, they would, add that third back in. So I really knew I had to take my health into my own hands, and that's where this book came in. So I read it and I followed it religiously, and I was going through that journey with Andrew Spud Fit Taylor, and I was increasing my potatoes, and the first couple weeks, that's all I really wanted to eat was potatoes, and I had to force myself to eat other foods. And I probably very easily could have done potatoes only, just like he did. But at that point I did, force myself to eat other foods. And I can remember one time, a couple weeks, and my daughter wanted a Subway sandwich. And I told her, yeah, she could have one. And so I went in and I ordered myself a Veggie Delight, I think it's called. And it's just all vegetables, and I didn't have any seasoning on it. I think I put some mustard. And I knew the bread had oil, but I said, just this one time, I'm just starting out. It'll be fine. And I took one bite, and I couldn't eat it. It wasn't a potato, and I did not want it. And so I wrapped it up, and I took it to my husband at home. And from that point on, I knew I was in trouble. I was either going to do the potato-only diet, or I was going to force myself to eat something other than potatoes. And I did. I started, beans and broccoli and oats in the morning and all that. So anyway, the doctor finally listened to me, took me off the diuretic, and I explained that my goal was to get off all the medications because I didn't trust them, and I didn't trust her anymore. And she didn't understand why I wanted to be off medications, which really made me trust her even less. So Dr. McDougall became my doctor, and this book became my Bible. And if you don't want to get the book, go to his website, because the information in this book is free on his website, and it's just drmcdougall.com, okay? And the section that I want you to realize that really helped me was the red light and green light foods. And he does it just a light, just like a traffic light, and tells you what not to eat and what to eat lots of and what to limit, okay? And like I said, all of that information is available on his website, and it's called the color book there. So that's what you'll look for if you go to the website. And like I said, there are recipes in the back, and that's where I got my golden gravy recipe that, of course, I changed a little bit because that's what I do. I Tina-ize everything. And that's when I started adjusting recipes and changing recipes and then creating my own recipes. And that's my story, and that's how I got started. So I really want to credit Andrew Spud Fit Taylor and Dr. McDougall and all the other doctors that help us and tirelessly take videos and travel and do TED Talks and are interviewed over and over again and just do their best to get the word out and to change legislation, because let's face it, our government is in the pocket of these industries, the meat, dairy, cheese industry, and they don't care that they're poisoning us. So let's take our health into our own hands. Guys, what do you say?